Hey everybody, welcome to a lovely series dedicated to the 4 paths of yoga. Today we'll be starting off with Karma Yoga, talking about selfless acts of service. So go ahead and get ready and we'll jump right in. We'll start in our comfortable seated position, sitting on top of our block. And just come into Sukhasana, nice, easy, cross-legged pose. We'll go ahead and take 3 rolls of our shoulders up by the ears. And rolling them down and back on the exhale. Another roll up and back. And one last round. Letting your shoulders really fall down your spine, away from the ears. Arms are heavy, palms on top of the thighs. And we'll start to close our eyes. Taking a deep inhale, really filling up from the bottom of the diaphragm all the way up to the top of the lungs. And reversing that direction as you exhale out. So if it helps as we get started, you're welcome to exhale out through the mouth if that helps to release any more tension through the face or jaw. Using your inhale to start to float the head and spine up towards the sky. And then exhale. Let the weight of the body melt straight down. And we'll start by simply paying attention to the breath as it moves in and out of the body. And if you'd like, you can start to bring into your mind's eye perhaps a recollection or a memory of a time in which you were acting in selfless service to someone else, perhaps your partner, family, friends, or wider community. And just tapping in to how that made you feel. I know a lot of times when I've been volunteering or donating, it really brings a nice sense of oneness, right? Bringing in this yoga quality of union, sense of oneness with the community, a sense of happiness of being able to be of service. To know that others are benefiting from my presence. So whatever positive recollection you have, go ahead and hold that not only in your mind's eye, but in your heart center. And we'll go ahead and seal that all together by bringing the palms together right in front of the heart. Thumbs can rest on the sternum. And we'll seal all of those lovely memories together with the sound of Om 3 times, taking a deep inhale to prepare. A full exhale out. And an inhale to chant. Om. Om. opening up the eyes. We'll go ahead and bring the hands back to the palm, or back to the tops of the thighs, and switch the cross of your legs. Starting to lift the corners of the mouth, bringing in that great energy as you lift the hands up overhead. And then exhale, bring the low ribs in towards your center as you twist to the left. And then let your hands land, one behind you, one on your opposite knee. Taking another inhale to really lift through the crown of your head. Exhale, bring everything into the midline of your spine and maybe twist a tiny bit more. Continue breathing. And then on your next inhale, we'll come back through center. Exhale, twist to the right as much as you can, and then letting your hands lower. Another inhale to lift in this twist. And exhale, bring everything to that center line of your body, using that as an axis to rotate and twist. Nice and gently, still warming up through the body. Next inhale, we come back through center, hands come up overhead. Great, we'll keep building. Exhale, twist to the left, planting the palms. Inhale, lift. Exhale, twist. On our next inhale, we'll bring the back arm, the left arm, up by our ear, and then start to reach over the opposite knee. Lovely. So continue anchoring down through the left hip. Deep inhale into this whole side body. Exhale, roll down, forward, and come back up through center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, twist. Inhale, right arm comes up by your right ear, and then we lift up and over for that side body stretch. Giving yourself a few rounds of breath. Opening up all of those muscles in between the ribs, and then circling down and around, coming back up through center. Lovely. We'll go ahead and move our blanket and come to sit in the center of our mat, stretching the legs out long. Beautiful. And then we'll inhale up again. Exhale, twist to the right. Arms can come out into a T. So see if you can keep your hips nice and even, really twisting from the center of your core up. Inhale back through center. And exhale, twist to the left. Arms come into a T shape. Continue flexing through your feet, starting to engage all of the muscles of the legs. Inhale back through center. Great. So this time we'll go ahead and bend the right leg. So planting through the right foot. Inhale, reach long. Exhale, twist to the right. Option to stay with our T arms, just like we did last round, or you can plant the right palm behind you and take a little bit of a bind. Left elbow on the outside of that knee for a little bit of a twist, looking back behind you. Inhale, come back through center, straighten out through both legs. Exhale, bend the left knee, plant the left foot, and then start to twist to your left. Great. Option to stay with those T arms, or if you did it on the other side, you can plant the back hand and find a little bind to help you twist a little bit deeper. Inhale, we come back through center, arms up overhead, both legs stretched out long, and this time we exhale, fold straight forward over the legs. So we're still warming up through our body here, and so if it helps to bend the knees for you to start to reach forward, That's a great option as well. Opening up through the back body. And then we inhale, straighten the legs, reach up. And exhale, plant the palms, cross the ankles. We're meeting on all fours. So once you get here, take a moment to really find a stable, neutral stance. So engaging through the low belly, lifting from the back of the heart, head in line with the rest of the spine, palms nice and bright. One breath there to neutralize. And then we'll go ahead and press the right leg back. So toes are tucked under, stretching out straight back through the right leg. And then really starting to press into the heel so you can find a nice calf stretch here. And then also start to ignite all of the muscles to the bone. Next inhale, we'll lift the heel in line with the hips. And then exhale, bring the knee to the forehead. Inhale, press back, one long line from your heel to head. And exhale, knee to forehead. We'll do 4 more rounds. So if you'd like to lift your opposite arm, you're welcome to add that layer. Hugging in and stretching long. Using our core. And then once we extend for that last time, we'll take one more cycle of breath, really stretching in opposite directions. And then we'll exhale, replant your hand if you had it up, and then replant through the back foot as well. So we're still having the toes tucked under. And then we'll slide our left shin out to the side, plant fully through the right foot, pressing into the outer edge, and then we reach up and over for our stargazer or gate pose variation. Inhale into the side body, and exhale, we come back through center, meeting on all fours. Great, you can go ahead and take a couple of cat and cow poses. Really using your breath to keep synchronizing movement and breath together. And we'll come back to our neutral spine. So tucking the toes, stretching back on the left side, out long this time. Start to firm up all of the muscles. Engage the low belly. Inhale to lift the heel. And we'll take 6 of those hugs in. So option to start long, and then exhale to bring knee to forehead. Or you can add your opposite arm for a little bit more of a balance and core challenge. Working with your own rhythm of breath here. When you come to your last reach, really allow the body to stretch in opposite directions like someone was pulling your hand and foot. And then drop your hand, plant through the toe ball mount of your left foot. Maybe find a little bit more of that calf stretch. And then we'll swing the right calf open, plant through the left foot, and reach up and over into our stargazer. Continuing to breathe nice and bright. And exhale back to all fours. Nice. We'll go ahead and bring the big toes together, knees out to the edges of the mat, and then start to curl the tailbone, reach the hips back towards the heels, and we'll meet in our child's pose. So really stretching back through the hip points, elongating through the low back. If it feels good for your arms, you can let the elbows plant down, bring the palms together, and then let the palms find a spot behind the head. I'll take one more cycle of breath, really filling up as much as you can, filling up the belly in between the knees, and then really let it all go. So no remaining energy or breath left in the body for just a second. And then we inhale, come back up to all fours. This time, we'll go ahead and bring the knees and ankles together. And then come to sit back on your heels. We'll come into Thunderbolt Pose. I'll face you really quick. And we'll start to interlace all of our fingers except our 2 pointer fingers. And then start to reach the hands all the way up. Almost like you're hugging your head with your arms. Continue bringing the low ribs in, finding that length through the low back, and lifting up from the heart. Taking a long cycle of breath. And then releasing the hands, coming back through all fours. This time we'll tuck the toes, hover the knees an inch or two off of the mat. So again, using that core strength. And as you're ready, you can keep the knees bent. Lift the hips up and back for your downward facing dog. So continuing to plant through the fingertips, lifting up from the palms. Maybe as it feels good, you can start to straighten out through the legs or bend one knee at a time. Continuing to open up through the back body. Lovely. We'll go ahead and look up, bend the knees, and then take little baby steps all the way up to the top of the mat. Knees stay nice and bent. So you can let the torso lie flat over the thighs. Start to shake out the head, yes and no. We really want to let the head hang heavy here. Taking the stretch out of our hamstrings, letting it melt any stress from the spine and back all the way down and out towards the ground. And if it feels good for you, you can interlace your fingers behind your back or take hold of opposite elbows. Either way, breathing nice and strong. We'll start to release any hold of the hands. Keep the knees bent. Start to roll up one vertebrae at a time. And once your head arrives, we'll take a really nice oxygenating inhale, hands up overhead. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Nice. From here, we'll go ahead and take an inhale, lift the sternum into the thumbs. And then exhale, start to press the hips back, bending the knees, coming into your chair pose. Lovely. We'll take an inhale, nice and bright, lift the heart and gaze. And then exhale, keeping the hands together, we'll step the left foot all the way back to land in a high crescent lunge. Great. From here, we'll take that twist that we were working with. So square the hips, pull the right hip back in space, and then let the arms come out into a T, twisting towards the right. Continue lifting the back knee up. And then on our next inhale, we'll cartwheel the arms and exhale into warrior two. Awesome. Nice little switch here. Taking a deep inhale. Exhale. Maybe sink a little deeper. Start to really connect with your body. As you exhale, you can bring the right forearm on top of the right thigh and then slice your top arm across and over your head. Beautiful. Continue wrapping the right hip underneath you. If you'd like a little bit of an extra challenge, you can maybe lift that bottom arm off and continue reaching in that direction. Lovely. From here, we'll take one more inhale. And then exhale, cartwheel the hands down to frame your front foot. We'll spike the back heel and then let the left hand stay down as you twist towards your front leg, stacking the shoulders on top of the wrists. Deep inhale. Exhale, twist from the navel. And then we'll come back through center, letting the hands come down. Release the back knee down, untuck the back toes. Continue hugging the inner thighs together. As we inhale, lift up Anjaneyasana. Exhale, sink. So if you have your blocks nearby, on the next exhale, we'll go ahead and pick them up as we brush our hands down and press our hips back. Really flexing through the front toes, finding our Ardha Hanumanasana, breathing into the back of the right leg. And then you can either stay here for 3 more breaths, or you can join me in a little bit of a flow between these two poses. So option to inhale, bend back into the front knee, lift the arms up, and then exhale, start to press into that front foot, bringing the hips back, and you can brush your hands down and back. Inhale into the front knee, and exhale back. Awesome. Last one. Awesome. From here, we'll go ahead and replant the hands. Bend into the front knee. So whether you did the flow or just started breathing in that stillness of the shape, we'll bring the hands back underneath the shoulders, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Awesome. And then start to come up into your warrior 3. So option to build, you can start to shift your weight forward, floating your back foot and leg, bringing the blocks with you as you come forward. You can stay here, maybe start to lift the hands like you're flying. And then we'll exhale, step it back to that warrior two. Lovely. Deep inhale in. Exhale, hands to the hips, and we turn all 10 toes to the side. Great. So from here, we'll take an inhale, lift the heart, and then exhale, fold forward. Releasing the hands down to the ground. You can play with your stance here. So maybe you bend into one knee and then the other. Maybe you walk your hands back in line with your feet. Crown of the head reaching down towards the ground. Maybe you can find a connection of the crown of your head with the mat. Maybe start playing with pressing into the hands and shifting your weight towards the balls of your feet. Continuing to engage through your legs. And then we'll slowly walk the hands back underneath the shoulders, coming up halfway. Exhale, turn towards the back of your mat. We're coming into that high lunge on this side. Lovely. And then we'll start to come up into our half split. So pressing into the front foot, lifting the back leg. You can frame your foot with your hands. Deep inhale into this half split. And then exhale. Plant both feet right underneath you. We're bending the knees, sinking the hips, and coming up into that chair pose. Continue breathing. Exhale, fold it forward. And then we'll gently roll the spine up. Inhale once you arrive. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Awesome. So we're going to come into a little bit of a standing series and then repeat that sequence on the other side. So we'll bring our weight into our left foot. Right foot comes up into your version of tree pose, anywhere above or below the knee. Once you find that landing spot, go ahead and hug foot and leg together. Hands can come to the heart, or maybe up overhead, maybe they branch out. Continue that hug of both sides of the body into the union of the center line. Last inhale, really find expansiveness. As we then exhale, bringing the hands together in front of the heart. And then you can start to stack the right ankle over the left thigh, really bending both knees, flexing through the top foot, sinking the hips down and back. Akapada, Utkatasana, one-legged chair pose. We're here for one more breath, so really send that prana energy where you need it most. Next inhale, we press into that standing leg. Inhale, lift the arms. Start to float that right knee right in front of you, nice 90-degree angle, or maybe you can start to stretch it out. And then we'll all step it back into that high lunge. Coming into this high crescent lunge for a moment to make sure everything is aligned. Our hips are really stable, drawing into one another. And then we exhale. Find that twist to the left. T arms. One more inhale. Exhale. And then we cartwheel the arms up and land in our warrior two. Great work, everybody. Looking so strong. Take one more inhale, reaching out in both directions, front to back. And then we exhale. Let the forearm come down on top of the thigh, slice across the sky. Extended side angle. If you took the option to reach both arms up at the angle, you're welcome to take that here as well. And as you're ready, we'll exhale, reframe the front foot, spike the back heel, let the right palm stay down on the ground, and then twist towards your front leg. Really stacking through the hands and shoulders. We'll release down. Hands come back. We drop the back knee. Untuck the back toes. Again, check in with your hips. They're kind of the nice little keystone here. So really hug the inner thighs together. Engage the low belly. Inhale up to rise, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, sink. If you'd like to use your blocks and they're handy, we'll start to bring the hands down towards the ground. Press the hips back, finding those half splits. Giving yourself to really feel into this shape. And if you took the flow on the other side, we'll bend back into the front knee. Inhale, arms up. Exhale. Send the hips back. Arms come back as well. Inhale, rise. Exhale, press it back. Last round here. So we're all together in this half splits, really flexing through the front toes, and then we'll all reach forward, bend into the back knee, tuck the back toes, lifting the back knee here, and then you can build into your flying warrior three. So we can start by bringing the hands forward, letting the back foot float up. You can stay here, finding that support through your hands. Nice square hips. Maybe you float the hands. Allow yourself to soar. And then we'll land in that warrior two. Nice long stance. Beautiful. Give yourself one more breath. Fire up. Reignite. And then hands to hips. We turn all 10 toes to the long side of the mat. This time we'll heel toe just a little bit more to bring our heels in, allowing our hips to sink into goddess pose. So you can kind of take this goal post, shape with the arms, bending the knees in the same direction as the toes, and stacking your heart over your hips as much as possible. Really allow yourself to breathe and fully expand. Exhale to sink a little deeper. Last round of breath. Inhale, reach up. Find your star pose, extending through your legs and arms. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. Great. And then we'll turn back to the top of the mat. Great. From here, we'll let the hands come back down to the ground. Start to find your standing split. So pressing into the front foot, lifting that back foot, letting the head hang heavy. Exhale. Step the feet hip width distance apart. We'll inhale up halfway.
and fold. Let's actually do that a couple more times. So we'll inhale, press into the floor or your shins, really elongate through the back of your neck, and use your exhale to fold forward. Last round. Exhale, fold. Give yourself a nice little hug of the legs. And then we'll bend the knees, release the hands, and roll it up, vertebrae at a time. Lovely. Once we arrive, we'll reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, let them settle right in front of the heart. Take a moment to recenter and recalibrate. And then we'll move into our standing balance poses. So bringing the weight of your body into your right foot, left foot finds its own place to land for a tree pose. And then you can take your own variation that you would like with your arms. Continue knitting the low ribs in and down, branching out, expanding. It's really rooting through the foot to rise through the crown. Exhale, we bring the hands back in front of the heart. Start to bend both knees, stack the left ankle on top of the right thigh, flex the top foot, and really start to sink the hips down and back. One-legged chair pose. Continue lifting the heart and the gaze. Left knee presses out long. Next inhale, we've plant into that standing leg, arms come up overhead. We float the left knee, either bent or elongated. And then we step all the way back. High crescent lunge. Great. This time we're going to bring both hands down to the ground, step the right foot back to meet it, coming into our plank pose. Breathing into the back of the heart space, engaging the kneecaps. And then you can lower down the knees or come all the way down through your chaturanga. We'll all meet on our bellies. Start to zip up the inner thighs, planting the tops of the feet into the ground. And then we'll start with a nice gentle Cobra Pose. So hands are underneath the shoulders, elbows straight back. Inhale. Lift the heart up and through the shoulders. Exhale, come back down. Continue hugging the shoulders together. Maybe slide the hands back a little bit more. As you inhale, press into the feet. Lift from the heart. And exhale, melt it down. Feel free to adjust your hands. We'll do one more Cobra Pose here, engaging the low belly as you press into the feet to inhale and lift. Maybe give yourself an extra breath here. And lower down. Lovely. We'll go ahead and interlace the fingers back behind the spine. Again, hugging the shoulder blades together. Legs together, feet down. So really powerful here, even on our bellies. And then we'll inhale, lift the heart, let it shine forward as you extend your hands back behind you. So you can just interlace the fingers, palms apart or palms together. Lifting from the back of the head. Last inhale. Exhale, Release the hands, release the heart back down to the ground. And then you can find a little bit of a shimmy side to side with the hips, releasing any low back tension. And then we'll start to bring our hands back underneath our shoulders, coming up through all fours. Great, so this time we're going to stretch the right leg out long, so really similar to what we did at the beginning of our practice. So hugging all of the muscles to the bone. Find that calf stretch for just a moment. And then we'll start to lift and float that right heel up. Exhale, knee to forehead, really round like cat pose. And this time we look forward and step it all the way through. Lovely. Go ahead and bring your right palm on top or to the inside of your right thigh. And if it feels okay, you can start to open up the hips, coming onto the outer edge of the right foot. And then again, really finding that Cobra Pose. Bringing the heart through the shoulders, maybe finding a tiny bit of an arch through the back. Keeping the low belly stabilized to protect your low back. And then exhale, we come back. Knees right over ankles. Nice flat connection of your foot with the earth. Keeping the left palm down. We'll then circle the right arm up and around, bending through the back knee to take hold of the back foot. Take an inhale, and you can stay here really pressing the foot into the hand and just enjoying the opening of the front of the chest. Or if you'd like a little bit of a quad stretch, we'll bring the hips back, connect them with your booty, and then bring it all together. Maybe not as deep, but continuing to twist from the upper back. Last inhale here. And then as you exhale, very gently release your back foot and reframe the front foot. Nice. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, come back through that arched cat pose. Bring the right heel towards the right booty and really float the right leg. And then send it back. Back toes tucked under. And then we meet back in all fours. So just simply reversing the way that we came into the pose. Take an inhale to reset. Engage the low belly. And then start to press back with the left toes. Inhale, float the left heel, keeping the hips nice and square. So really using your booty to lift. Exhale, knee to forehead, really rounding through the spine, lifting the knee, and then stepping it in between the hands. Left hand comes to the top of your thigh, and then start to really flex through that left foot to protect your joints as you take the optional opening, coming onto the outer edge of the left foot. We're practicing with that Cobra Pose, so really hug the shoulders together, bring the heart through. Maybe find that back bend. All of the muscles of your body are engaged. And then we exhale, hug it all back to center. Nice. Left hand reaches in front and around, this time bending the right knee to take hold. Lovely. And enjoy the sensation of twisting from the upper back, pressing the foot into the hand. Maybe gazing back behind you. Or if you took the quad stretch, we'll bring the booty back towards the heel and then bring it all forward. Continue breathing where you need it most. For some of us, it might be the quads. Some of us, it might be the hips. Wherever you need that, gift yourself one more cycle of breath. Exhale to release. Lovely. We're going to reverse the way that we came into this. So once you frame your front foot, we'll go ahead and bend the left knee, hug it towards the forehead, really float the left shin as much as you can, and then shoot it straight back to land the toes on the mat. Deep inhale. Exhale, drop both the knees, so both of them are hip-width distance apart. We'll take a cat and cow pose. And then coming back to neutral, we'll bring the knees and ankles together, sitting the hips back, coming into our Thunderbolt Pose one more time. Hands up overhead, interlacing fingers, shooting the pointer fingers straight up. Just like a thunderbolt, it's connecting heavens and earth. One more inhale. Really see if you can let the hips be heavy as you lift the upper body, finding a nice active stretch through the spine. And then we exhale, hands come down to the ground. Lovely. You all are looking really good. So we'll come back to our all fours. An option to come into plank and lower through chaturanga if you'd like a little bit more of an active version, or we'll simply lower down through knees, chest, and chin before all meeting on our bellies. Great. So we'll do one more round of belly down back bends. You're welcome to keep it chill with Cobra Pose or do anything that we've done before, anything that's in your practice. I'll walk us through a couple of options, and indeed they're options. This is always your practice. So we'll reach the hands straight forward if you'd like to try a couple of variations with me. Reaching the hands straight forward and then finding that same mudra, right? So interlacing all of the fingers except the pointers. Bringing the head in between the arms, engaging the low belly, pressing the legs and feet into the mat, helping you to fully activate as you inhale to lift the heart and the arms. Option to maybe lift the feet as well. A little bit of a curved lightning bolt this round. And we exhale, lower it down. Stack the hands underneath the forehead, and then you can bend the knees and windshield wiper them side to side. Great. We'll come back. Reach the hands forward again. And this time we're going to bend the right knee, take hold of the outer ankle with the right hand, and then we'll come into half bow here. So we'll take an inhale, lift the heart, and you can slide that front hand back for some support as you really start to kick and press your foot into your hand, maybe lifting the thigh off of the ground as well. Hugging everything into the midline, option to float the hand as well. Half bow, inhale, and exhale. Again, stacking the hands, maybe the opposite way, bending both knees. See you can release the back, letting the feet land side to side. Stretching the legs out long. Right arm comes out long as you bend the left knee. Take hold of the outer ankle. And then on your inhale, continue hugging everything energetically in towards the midline. As you inhale, lift the heart. Press the foot into your hand. And allow yourself to build, right? So no need to come into the biggest expression of the pose that the world has ever seen, but you can start to build. Maybe you just lift the thigh off and you keep the hand in front of you down for extra support. Maybe you lift both. Whatever you choose to do, take one more inhale wherever you are. Find the fullness of your expression, and then we exhale. Let it all come down, and you can stretch out both legs nice and long. Shaking out the hips side to side. And then we'll go ahead and plant the hands underneath the shoulders, press up through all fours. And then we'll come into Pigeon Pose. So a couple of options here. In Pigeon Pose, we actually want to find as much of an angle as we can through the shape of the knee. So almost like you're bringing your right knee to the outside of your right wrist, and then trying to bring your left foot as close as you can to your left wrist. And so that's going to be a different shape for everybody, but we're trying to find space here. Another option is to find Sleeping Swan, in which we actually bring the foot closer to the hip and then come forward. So see what's working well for your hips today, whether you want to bring the foot out wide or not. Either way, start to center the hips and then exhale, coming forward, maybe onto the forearms, maybe all the way down, whatever is working for you today. There can be a lot stored in the hips, so really be gentle with yourself and find a landing spot where you can breathe nice and even. And while you have this forward fold, if it feels good for you, you can bring the third eye down to the ground and start to tap back into that sensation from the beginning of our practice. Finding that fullness of heart, that kind of glowing quality that you get when you act in selfless service to others. And then we'll start to slowly come back up, plant the palms, tuck the back toes, and then we'll meet in a brief plank pose to just make sure that everything is realigned through our bodies. So again, engaging the kneecaps and thighs. And then we exhale, lower the knees, and then find your Pigeon Pose or Sleeping Swan on the left side. So the left knee comes up into the outside of your left wrist. Finding your placement, making sure that you really center through both hips. And if you look at your back foot, you want to make sure that your foot is nice and even too, so you're not kind of sickling into one side, but your toes are pointing straight back. Take a deep breath in, and then find your forward fold. Again, holding that illuminating quality of your heart in your vision, in your body. Karma yoga allows us to find that selfless service, and for a lot of us, it does make us feel good, but there's something about going into the service without expecting anything in return, right? And so that can be done through volunteering for different organizations. It can be cooking up a pot of soup for your friends and family, maybe some nice baked goods. Maybe you organize an event for your wider community. Perhaps you're simply
washing the dishes for a friend or an elderly family member. Whatever it is, this idea of karma yoga is to really just weave different intentions of service into your action. So that action can be small or large, whatever resonates best for you. So with that in mind, we'll go ahead and replant the palms. Step both feet back into that plank pose, really engaging all of the muscles of the body, stacking the spine in nice alignment. And then we'll drop both knees, cross the ankles, and come to a seat. Great. So we're going to do a few little boat poses here. We'll bring our feet out in front, hands behind the hamstrings. Start to prep the shoulders nice and strong on the back of the heart space. And already when you do that, you lift the heart up, start to pull the navel in, and then see where your feet want to go. See where your body wants to play. And so yes, there are kind of role model poses that we can look to, but I really want to bring in this playful quality, right? It's when we're playful, when we're acting from a state of flow, that we're able to really enjoy the moment and perhaps even get deeper into our practice than we might imagine. So let yourself play. Maybe you release one hand and then the other. Maybe you keep the toes on the ground, whatever it is. We'll take one more breath in your boat pose of choice. And then exhale, bend the knees. Start to let the left leg come down to the mat. And then we're going to cross the right foot over that leg. So coming into Ardha Matsyendrasana. If this is a lot for the hips, you can just extend the left leg out long. So either way, we'll go ahead and plant into the hip bones. Plant the right hand back behind. Inhale, lift the left arm. Exhale, twist as much as you can. And then take a nice hug of the leg or a bind. We've been doing a lot of twists today. So our body should be nice and warm, and hopefully this feels really good. To release any tension that remains and lingers through the body. You can almost picture like you're wringing out the towel, really releasing through the twist. And then we'll start to gaze back towards the front, unwind the twist, and then bring our legs and feet back together. One more boat pose. So setting up just like you did before, nice strong core, lift of the heart. Whatever works for you in your boat pose. Find your expression. Find your unique shape. And we bend the knees. Let the right leg come down first this time. Similar to what you did on the other side, this time we'll step the left foot up and over. Left hand plants behind. Really stretch on the inhales. You lift the right arm up. Exhale, twist from the core. And then find your hug or bind. Continue breathing fully, deeply. And we'll inhale, start to turn your gaze back towards the front, release your hand, and then we'll come into some last hip opening poses. So from here, since your right leg is already down on the ground,
We'll bend that leg so you can bring your right shin in front of you and then stack the left shin on top of it. So this is quite a lot for the hips. If it helps, you can just bring the left shin in front or bring your blanket under the left knee to make it a little bit more supported. So option is yours. We'll go ahead and find that stacking of the shins in Agni Stambhasana. And then I like to make sure that I'm kind of pointing through my feet to keep the ankles nice and safe. And then you can place your hands on top of the thighs and hinge forward. So we'll keep it nice and active. Seeing if you can keep the hips grounded as you reach out to the crown of your head. And if it feels good for you, maybe walk the hands out and then start to round forward over the legs. So always options. And start to walk the hands back in. Plant both palms back behind you. Come onto your bottom, and then we'll switch the legs. Let them come back down. And again, you can let the right shin be in front or stack it on top. So last time we were pointing through the feet. This time you're welcome to change it up and flex through the feet. And again, ground down with your hands either on your thighs or on the ground itself. Inhale nice and long and exhale. Find an active hinge forward. So I know for me, it always feels really different from side to side. So just simply breathe, notice your breath, notice what sensations are coming up for you. Perhaps if you took it on the other side, you can also reach the arms forward. And then start to make your way back up to a seat. Great. So last little seated pose here. If you have your blocks, go ahead and bring them over. And I like to use my blocks on the lowest setting. That tends to be the safest, but you know your props best. So for me, with the blocks on the lowest setting, I'm going to plant my palms really bright. And then just simply cross the shins right in front of me, so kind of creating this little X shape with my legs. And then really engaging the shoulders, we'll press down and forward through the hands. Maybe start to lift the hips. Maybe start to lift the feet. And you can play with the legs. Maybe bring them together, keep them crossed. And you can play with it. Maybe take a little break. Maybe you stretch the legs out long, but find that low belly engagement. And then we'll sit our hips back down. Awesome. That playfulness is coming into the picture. So from here, you can let your blocks and blanket come out to the side. Start to sit back in the center of your mat. And then stretching the legs forward, we'll reach out and come forward. Paschimottanasana. So it should feel really different than when we did this at the beginning. Nice warmth running through the body. And then we'll roll up to stack our spine. And then keep engaging the low belly as you roll back one vertebrae at a time. All the way flat on your back. We'll bend both knees. Take the right ankle on top of the left thigh, and you can simply use your hands to press open the knee, opening up the hips. And then we let the legs and foot fall over to the left. Your right foot
finds a nice landing spot on the ground. And then we'll open up the arms into our T or goalpost shape. Gazing over the right shoulder. Option, if you'd like a little bit more action through the legs, you can use your left hand to take hold of the outer right foot. And then maybe start to straighten the legs. Really feeling into the outer glute and IT band as you twist. A little variation of cat catching its tail. And then we'll release the foot if you have it. Bend the knees to stack them over each other. And then bring it back through center. Awesome. From here, we'll keep the right foot down. Cross the left ankle over the right thigh. Use your hands to stabilize and open through the hips. And as you're ready, you can let the left foot fall over, plant down. Bring the arms out and gaze over your left shoulder. Option, if you took it on the other side, you can take hold of the outer left edge of your foot. Stretch it out long. Continuing to breathe. And then bending, releasing that top foot, stacking the knees, coming back to center. Give yourself one last hug, really squeezing everything in. And releasing to your final resting pose, Shavasana. Allowing the mind and breath to settle to a natural, even spot. As you're ready, we'll start to bring our awareness back to the breath, back to the present moment, back to the body, perhaps bringing one hand over the heart, one hand over the belly. Calling in that grand sense of being in service to others. regardless of the outcome, regardless of what may potentially be in it for yourself. Honoring that lineage of karma yoga by weaving in these thoughtful acts of service and kindness into our daily actions. And with that, you're welcome to take a nice overhead stretch, rolling on to your favorite side of the body, bending both knees, and then pressing yourself back up to a comfortable seat, just the way we began. You can bring your blanket back underneath you. And we'll go ahead and rub the palms together, allowing just the pinky edges to touch. Palms are facing up in service and generosity. And we'll go ahead and conclude with one final Om, taking an inhale to prepare. A full exhale out. And inhale to chant. Receiving that love and then return. We bow the mind towards the heart, seal the palms together, thumbs to the third eye. In honor of each and every one of you for performing your own act of service, in practicing all together, and in all of the many ways that you are in service to your friends, family, and community. I see you and I bow to you. Namaste. Lovely work, everybody. Thank you so much for making the time to practice with me. This was such a lovely, lovely evening together. And I'll hope to see you all again soon. Take care.